Alrighty, everyone, it's a best of 7, and we're just about to get started here. Spawning down in the bottom right-hand side of the map, he's on a barcode account, but it's PartinG, the big boy. Spawning up in the top left-hand side of the map, it's Liquid TaeJa, the sort of Terran monster who's recently returned. Now, last game there was a lot of proxies between the last match. I was thinking back about it, and there was a lot of proxies between these two. And it looks like TaeJa, no exception, once again, gonna hide his barracks. And we'll see what PartinG's gonna do against that. Let me quickly fix the sound here. Okay, that should be fine now. I do apologize, there was no game sound for a second, but that has been remedied. So yeah, thanks so much to everyone for tuning on in. Because you guys like these show matches so much, that's the exact reason we keep on doing them. And having a rematch for these guys is just too hard to resist. Once again, starting things off very aggressively, it seems, from TaeJa. Proxying his barracks just to keep PartinG in the dark. And then going for a double gas right after it. So this is an aggressive play coming out of these guys. PartinG moves in with his probe just to scout everything out. He's gonna see. Oh man, come on guys, starting things off with a proxy once again. This really is a throwback to the last time they played, in which TaeJa was a little bit relentless with his proxies. Now PartinG moves on in. If he actually checks the very corner, he'd be able to see the barracks, and he does confirm the barracks is there, but then his probe gets locked in, so unfortunately for that probe, his days are most likely numbered. PartinG on the other side of the map, though, just keeping things nice and cool, getting up his nexus regardless. Cybercore first, of course, when you scout that the barracks is out on the map, since it lets that finish up quicker. But, ooh, look at that. PartinG actually recalls the probe to rob TaeJa of its kill. Okay, now that probe, nice and safe in a geyser. Alright, so now we've got a command center on the way for TaeJa. So he opened up with a very fast factory, but what he's going to do after that is the question. Getting a tech lab and a reactor. So this looks like it could potentially be for cyclones, which are, of course, the new unit everyone's wondering about. So the last show match didn't have the current cyclone. Well, yeah, the current cyclone is basically the old cyclone once again. Now Reaper dives on in here. TaeJa's stalker, or PartinG's stalker, pardon me, trying to shoo it away. Looks like it may actually go down. And he does get the Reaper, which is a nice kill there. However, I believe the Reaper for TaeJa did get the scout off. Yeah, it did. He confirmed the Stargate, so he knows that's PartinG's tech. Adept and a stalker out for PartinG just to be safe, but... And then a Cyclone on the way behind this, but PartinG going for a Phoenix right away behind this, so we'll see if he's going to commit to that sort of play. Just the one Phoenix on the way for now. Very good at lifting up Cyclones, and if TaeJa moves out with his Cyclone, he could actually potentially just lose it straight up to this Phoenix, to the two Adepts. And that Phoenix actually gets locked on by that Cyclone. However, the fact that TaeJa spotted that is actually perfect for him. He knows that he can back on up. If he committed there, the Phoenix likely would have lifted up his Cyclone and killed it. Now a Banshee's on the way for TaeJa behind this. Cloak on the way as well. And PartinG, he did just go right on into that Phoenix count. Right on into these Phoenix. He never got up an Oracle, so he doesn't actually have any anti-invisible. He doesn't have any detection now. His Phoenix flies on in. It's going to get locked on by this Cyclone. Going to shoo it away there. But he does confirm that there's Cloak on the way, so PartinG can always throw up a shield battery, and TaeJa actually cancels it for good measure there. But for now, TaeJa is just going for a 1-1-1, and a very aggressive one at that. Just, he really went for double gas first, now followed this up with a macro play, but he did delay his tech and upgrades a fair bit in order to get this out. And PartinG didn't really take any damage or anything, so TaeJa did put himself a little bit behind. Just in this regard, it looks like we're seeing Mass Adept coming out of PartinG, which is plenty interesting. He's getting up a third base as well. Now the Adepts are actually just shading right across the map. This is really interesting for a timing for PartinG. His Adepts are just shading right on in here. Now there's a tank There's all these Marines. These Adepts for Parting, are they going to shade again? No, they're actually going to be found by these tanks. Now, the Adepts are shading. They're trading out with all of these Marines, and they're actually just going to shade right on in here, cleaning out a lot of these Marines. And it looks from the scene of things that pretty much every single Marine's going to die. They're now going to work away on that Cyclone. Of course, it will survive. Parting trades on out. How many Adepts for those Marines? 8 Adepts for 11 Marines. So at the end of the day, not the best trade in the world for Parting. And that was kind of Parting's economy lead at this point coming into effect. He has macroed up a little bit straighter than TaeJa did, so he had a bit of an income advantage for a bit in this game. But of course, it's fairly even now. So I guess just trading out with those Marines, though, was all he needed to really force TaeJa back. Now, we'll see, because there's these 2 Oracles out now for Parting. He's just staying back with these units, expecting the Cloak Banshee, but no Cloak Banshee is on the way, as TaeJa did cancel that. It's just the 1 regular Banshee. Alright, now the 3rd base is getting on up here for Parting. And, oh, looks like a Widowmine out on the map. Parting should be able to catch that. Stalker's gonna shoot away on that, but they're not actually able to kill it. Something's gonna have to take one for the team. Parting doesn't even care about that Adept Shade. He just commits right on in. Now TaeJa back at home. He doesn't actually have too many units since the rest of his production was delayed. So Parting is coming on in here. He's got the 3 Phoenix. He's got the Oracles. He's actually looking for a kill move right now. He lifts up some units, but not actually the Siege tanks. The Oracle's working away. There we go. Both tanks are lifted. The Stalker's running in. Oracles are putting out a fair bit of damage onto this. 8 SCVs have died so far. There's a handful of Marines here. However, the Oracle's actually going to work away on them. Phoenix kill off the Raven, but the Raven drops an auto turret and forces us back. But Parting trades out. He gets 10 SCVs, delays the 3rd of TaeJa, pardon me, which is actually a fantastic move. Look how close that 3rd is. TaeJa needs to finish that off. Now, 1-1's on the way for TaeJa. Stimpack's going to be done, but his unit count has been reset. His production is delayed. He's getting up his 4th and 5th rack soon. Of course, he's not going to have a tremendous amount of production for now. Phoenix actually gets caught is a nice move, but it actually escapes. Phoenix are so tanky. Now, 6 gateways on the way for Parting. He's getting up Blink, Sentries on the way, +1. With the Blink and +1, and the fact that he reduced TaeJa's bio count early on in the game, it may actually help him out be able to trade out with this bio early on. Of course, when it's mass amounts of bio, the Stalkers are not too good and you generally need something else. But when it's in the lower numbers, the Blink Stalkers are not actually horrible versus what TaeJa's going for. Now, TaeJa's actually planning a drop, and of course, Blink Stalkers are very good at shutting down drops, but look at this. It's actually a full-on Doom drop coming out of TaeJa. Now, this Oracle does actually detect this and just throws up a Revelation. TaeJa's like, well, I don't think I'm going to be able to commit now. Parting throws up a 4th base while this is going on. This is pretty bold. This is pretty bold coming out of the Protoss. Just the fact that he's committing to 4 bases when really all he has is just these gateway units. Of course, Charge is very good, and he's heading into that. He's getting just 1 upgrade at a time. But he is going to have to be careful of this move out that's coming from TaeJa. He's going to have something. Revelation goes down on this army. Zealots are being warped in, and Immortals on the way. He does have to Blink Stalkers. Sentries with a lot of energy. Actually, an offensive Blink from Parting picks off one of the tanks. Force Field's going down on the rest of it. The one concern is he doesn't have Charge on the Zealots yet in order to close this gap. He's losing a few probes here as TaeJa gets to work on him. Fighting out of the range of the Siege tank. However, Parting not taking the best engagement right now. TaeJa is up on supply, and Parting does have to respect that for now. Warping in more and more Zealots, but TaeJa's getting a good trade so far. There's Widowmines at the back there. The Nexus is now under assault. Parting's waiting for Charge before he can really go in, and he's going to have that now. But, I mean, his unit count has been thinned out a fair bit. The Stalkers are going for it once again. Dodging the Widowmines is very important. However, the Immortal Sentry's pushing this back, but there's not actually enough for Parting right now. TaeJa's stimming right on in. What does Parting have? He's got a few more charge lots that he's warped in. He's going to have +1 armor soon. That's actually been a very notable thing. The fact that his +1 armor was not done, whereas TaeJa had his 1-1 during this fight. That Nexus going down, so these Zealots warping slowly for the remainder of their duration. Now, there's Stalkers and Zealots out for Parting. Another Immortal's going to help out, but TaeJa has an overwhelming amount of bio for now. This army, Parting knows where it's at. It's on his doorstep. The Stalkers have got have just got so much to do. These Sentries, they can always force field to delay this push, but there's also so many Widowmines here. Parting's actually going to catch another 2 of these mines, which is very nice for him. Force fields go down to delay this army, but it gets right on up the ramp. The Zealots, most of them have worn thin for now. And yeah, actually just 2 Zealots warping on in. It doesn't look like Parting has enough. He's in a world of trouble. He's desperately trying to hold on. He got this fantastic economy up. He got his 4th base up, but now he's lost his 3rd. And TaeJa's looking for a kill move. The Liberator's set up. The Widow Mines are there. And GG, TaeJa takes the first map. All right. Very well played. So we'll get on into the next map in a second here, guys. But I just want to quickly do a bit of a plug here. We're going to check out the match arena. Now, hold on. Hold on. Okay, guys. So we're going to check out the match arena here. And basically, linked in chat, if you type !match arena, you can find this. You guys have done well. We've used up all the coupon codes, but it's important to note, and I do want to note out, if you go into the Contribute tab, and say you have a Twitter account, there's these sponsored quests you can do, and basically you just click, tweet out, or follow someone on Twitter, check out a link perhaps, subscribe to someone on YouTube, and you actually add money to the prize pool, and it's a significant amount for free. So I just wanted to quickly show you guys that. Don't forget about the sponsored quests on the match arena. Feel free to do that, but we'll get on into the next map here in just a second. We are loading on in. All right, and yeah, thanks so much to everyone for tuning on in today. Always look forward to the show matches like this. All right, but we are in the lobby. We'll get everyone else on in too. Yeah, so also saw a few follows coming in. Thanks so much, guys. There's multiple ways to support this stream and show your support for it, but doing directly so on the match arena definitely helps out with these events. All right, but we're loading on into the next game. Thanks so much, everyone. I hope you guys are looking forward to the show match. It's certainly delivered so far. I love those close sort of situations, but spawning down the bottom left-hand side of the map, the first one got away from him. It's PartinG the big boy. And his opponent spawning up in the top right-hand side of the map, representing Team Liquid. It's TaeJa. Now, TaeJa versus PartinG, always a fantastic match. GeoKilla asking what's the code on Match Arena. I believe it's games number 8 for PartinG versus TaeJa. However, we've actually filled that one out. So there's another show match coming up after this, guys. We decided to do a double. It's going to be Clem versus Bly. You guys can check that one out. It's games number 9 to support that one. Enough of that, though. We've got the early game going on so far. It looks like TaeJa building his barracks in his main base. Very respectful. I was wondering how many times we'd see a proxy. And SCV goes down early on. I wonder what that was about, honestly. But just getting up his gas now. Thing I love about these show matches is everyone's waking up as they go. Not Sart says, morning people. I know a lot of you guys are up late watching this show match, but then the rest of the world's sort of waking up. So yeah, thanks so much to everyone for tuning on in from around the globe. All right, PartinG moving in with his probe, scouting everything out. We'll confirm that it's a normal barracks time. I'm curious about this SCV for TaeJa that moved down a little bit early, what that was about. But, of course, and obviously a little thing. Probe for PartinG going to move on in and be a little bit of a nuisance. The SCV, luckily safe in the center. All Terrans wish their SCVs could do that so they couldn't be reached and killed. But Reaper on the way for TaeJa, so PartinG's probe going to have to get on out of there relatively soon. He's being a pain, but that Reaper's actually going to get out. He must be planning on recalling it again as that Reaper gets on out. So he's going to have to recall that if he wants to keep it alive. It's getting shot, but there is no recall. So PartinG actually going to lose this probe, which is a bit of a bummer for him. Normal time to Reaper, losing your probe. Not the nicest thing. Notsart says it's 3 p.m., but you know it's Sunday. All right, that's a very fair point. Now Reaper's moving on in here for TaeJa. PartinG's Adept is in position. He actually commits to the Shade, And now, of course, TaeJa doesn't know that, though, so he doesn't commit on in. A Stalker's on the way out. A Robo's the follow-up tech of choice for PartinG. It's tucked nicely in the back here, so TaeJa's really going to have to commit to scout this. The Stalker going to push that Reaper away. Meanwhile, the Adept for PartinG is running on in. It shouldn't be able to delay the command center. Just the way the timing works out is really quite perfect. Although, yeah, look at that. Good save there for TaeJa. Finishes that up. Adept runs on in here, trading out with one of these Marines, but gonna have to shade on out of there soon. Looks like PartinG may actually commit to the shade, and he does. He's got to be careful, though. There's 3 Marines. He really did sack this Adept. Gets another SCV, which makes it partially worth it. We'll see. This Adept should be able to trade out with one of these Marines. Perhaps just go for the shot, kill that Marine. He does not. Now the Stalker's actually here for PartinG. I love this early bit of gateway unit aggression. However, he's a little bit concerned for when that Cyclone pops out, so he goes on out. All right. Now PartinG got up his Nexus back at home. TaeJa opening up with a Cyclone. These Cyclones really are safety units for the Terran in PvT, it seems. And I was actually casting a Freak a World last night, guys. And this is a build that Bunny was doing a lot. This is the exact build that Bunny was doing. It leads into a nice bit of bio aggression. And we'll see what PartinG is going to do with this. He's getting up multiple gateways behind this. Getting up his Warp Prism as well, so that definitely indicates aggression. And Petit Drogo actually did the exact same build that PartinG's doing. To a degree, go for the early Warp Prism, then bust the Terran who's going for Stim, teching into a lot of bio, because Terran is vulnerable when they are committing to all this bio, so PartinG may be able to hit a nice timing. These Stalkers are actually going to be seen. He doesn't kill off the Reaper, so that's a bit of a bummer. TaeJa knows this is on the way. He's starting a bunker now. He's going to try and get ahead of this as well, moving his Cyclone and everything to the ramp, but PartinG sees it all there, so he's going to be careful. We'll see him warp in some more Stalkers, and TaeJa's just going to have to rely on this bunker. Make sure he keeps it alive. That Observer in its mode to give vision, so now here comes PartinG. He's moving on in. Of course, he's got the Warp Prism, though, so he's able to trade out with these Marines, picking off a fair few already. These Marines are bruised off, and everyone that PartinG kills is so nice for him, so he kills off a good number there. Now he has the choice. He either has to try and break the bunker or just trade with the SCVs, it seems. Stalkers have fallen. He's got to be careful. He's got to really respect that. Cyclone, one of those Stalkers gets lifted up to be kept alive, however. TaeJa, with enough units, it seems, keeping this bunker up is very important for him. PartinG warped in more Stalkers. He wants to try and break this. He's really pushing the issue for now. He's got Blink behind this, but he loads on up into his Warp Prism. And we'll see if he commits on out with this. Looks like this Warp Prism going to be heading into the natural, perhaps, to try and find some damage. PartinG accepting the fact that he's not going to break this, but TaeJa's going to have Stim in a second here. PartinG's getting up a Nexus. The concern is very real. Now that TaeJa has Stim, of course, PartinG's going to be able to, he's going to really be able to shut this down, and this makes it a little bit worrisome. PartinG moves out with his Warp Prism. He's got to be very careful. He sees the Medivac that's moving out for TaeJa, and all he's going to have is these gateway units. There's no shield battery up in his main base, so I do worry for PartinG a little bit, because once Stim's out, we all know what Marines do once they have Stim pack versus gateway units without any upgrades going for them, without any support. And now here flies on in TaeJa with the Medivac. Stalkers are in position, though, to shoo this away. And they're going to do just this, and oh, it looks like that PartinG's actually going to try and catch this Medivac for now. Of course, it can't hang around in the dead space, though. 1+1's done for both players in just a second here. PartinG's getting into his own, but look at this. TaeJa's planning a push right now, and when all you have is Blink Stalkers, it's very concerning for the Protoss. PartinG's warping in more right now, but this is 4 Marauders here with Bio. PartinG's going to be in trouble, I think, actually. He needs to focus down the Marauders, but TaeJa, Warp Prism Micro right now. Force Field goes down, but PartinG's in a lot of trouble. This push did not get done what he needed. He's going to trade out with these Marauders, but of course Stalker's not really ever going to trade efficiently versus Marauders. He may actually get the Medivac. That's a nice find. However, these Marines, they unloaded in a different position. They're probably now going to boost into the main base. PartinG's going to have to blink on in after that, perhaps. Sends in a few Stalkers, but TaeJa gets on out. So TaeJa killing off 3 SCVs, trading out pretty nicely there. And now the question is, what does PartinG have to hold off any follow-up pushes? Of course, TaeJa only on the 3 racks production for now. He's getting up more. So it's not like he has a tremendous amount of production, but it's still bio versus just these gateway units. And this is why we like to see Protoss open up with things like Colossus, say, go for a 2-base robotics facility. or Robotics Bay, pardon me, and get up Colossus. But now we're going to be seeing TaeJa's going to be getting ready to come on in for round 2. PartinG's moving on out with his Warp Prism, but the fact that this bio is now moving on in, there's no charge for PartinG. It's really going to be up to the Blinkstalkers to get a good trade. He has a pretty significant army for now to push this bio back, but once TaeJa really gets all of his reinforcements and everything here, that's where I start to worry for PartinG. We're seeing PartinG move in with a bit of Zealot harassment. That's going to be very nice for him, but TaeJa's now stimming on in after he's got the Sentry, so he can always force field some of these units out, and he does just that. Now, we're seeing Stalkers. Charge is going to be done soon for the Protoss, but here comes in the Zealots. This is actually a very nice move for PartinG to counter this out, and he's actually warping in an absolute ton of Zealots here into the base of TaeJa. Zealots are connecting with this. They just have charged now, which is very nice for him. We are seeing TaeJa, though, he's actually going to be dropping right into the natural. PartinG got a bit of a heads up on this, and he's actually going to catch the Medivacs. Catches one of them, going to be looking for a second. TaeJa may be moving into the third base now. PartinG's got to be careful about that. Warping in Zealots to buy himself some time, buy this Nexus some time, warping in even more Zealots, and he did so much damage in the main base. PartinG ties things up 1-to-1, and we saw all those Zealots there. Look at that. All these Zealots in the main base. Okay, thanks so much to everyone for tuning on in. All right, we're going to be heading into map number 3, and I know some of you guys were saying PartinG's in trouble, but PartinG has fantastic PVT, guys. There's no way around it. He goes for moves like that he did with that Warp Prism, and that won him that game. Yeah, so it's tied 1-to-1. We have a series on our hands. All right. Yeah, thanks so much to everyone for tuning on in. Ooh, guys, I forgot to post this on Reddit. All right. And yeah, so feel free to support that. I know all the codes for the first one have been used up, but there is that second match arena, so you guys can support that. It helps me out, which helps out all these tournaments, so feel free to check out that ! match arena in chat. And of course, if you guys want to get the event replays, those are up for grabs on that match arena. $5 for a nice best of 7 like this, learn some builds and whatnot, but we're in the next game, and the map is going to be Cerulean Fall. Everyone's ready, so we are going to load on in. It's a best of 7 between these two. Thanks so much for the support. Hope you guys are enjoying this match. I certainly am. I know there's a lot of good Starcraft 2 going on for the time being as well, so the fact that you guys are watching this is really awesome. Okay, now we're loading on in. It's 1-to-1 in this best of 7, so we've got a series on our hands. Spawning down the bottom left-hand side of the map, representing Team Liquid, it's TaeJa. And his opponent spawning up in the top right-hand side of the map, it's PartinG the big boy. Okay, so we'll see what TaeJa's going to do this game. Looks like he's actually going to be going for... He's delaying his gas, so not going for like a gas first or anything like that. Could be a CC first, but no, likely going to get up his barracks. And there he goes. Just going for the sort of older barracks into gas. And barracks is in his main base, so no proxy or anything out on the map. So just playing it straight up from this point out. PartinG moves on out with his probe. Got to get that scouting off, and he'll see everything's normal. And now PartinG quickly took some nice moves versus TaeJa. He was able to hold on, which is very impressive versus the stimmed bio. TaeJa went for a drop. PartinG saw it though, and so he shut that down, going for the counter harassment. TaeJa had sort of just been boxed in that last game. All right, now here we see Probe being a bit of a nuisance here, going to try and delay the CC just a little bit, forces TaeJa to build it in a different spot. If PartinG wants to keep that probe, it has to run away soon. It just goes in for the one hit. SCV's shooing him away, but this Reaper's going to pop on out, and Parting's going to have to hide that probe or something if he wants to keep it alive. Now we'll see where TaeJa sends his Reaper to try and find this probe. Reaper's out, but they're both going opposite ways. Alright, now Adept on the way for PartinG. We'll see how he's going to open up this game. If you guys remember in that last game, he opened up rather aggressive. He saw the build that TaeJa was going for, and he still thought, alright, I can counter this with some aggression. And now that kind of aggression has just killed Terrans going for that build in the past, so it's definitely a viable strat. However, TaeJa had a good reaction to it. He repaired the bunker. PartinG wasn't able to get done what he needed. Now it's a Twilight Council on the way. Stalker going to shoo away this Reaper, though. Very nicely timed for PartinG. And most importantly, TaeJa, he didn't scout the Robo in the last game. Adept's coming on in for PartinG, by the way. Going to trade on out with those Marines. Gets one of them. May actually be able to get the second here. He doesn't get that second Marine, however, he gets into the main base, and so PartinG with this Adept being a pain. I'm not sure about how this trades out. I think the Marine kills the Adept. He gets it. Oh, and now this is going to be so close. I don't think he's going to be able to get it. Now, that Adept does get cleaned on up. He doesn't get the SCV, but he gets 2 Marines. Stalker's now in here. Going to work away on some of these units. A Hellion's actually out for TaeJa. That Stalker's got to be careful. He gets grenaded, and suddenly it's in a lot of trouble. PartinG decides to recall it. They're using recall to great effect so far. And when I say great effect, he's recalled a probe and a Stalker, but you guys know what I mean. Just, it's cool to see that being used. Stalker gets out alive thanks to that recall. And now PartinG's got a Dark Shrine on the way. You can never count out DTs in PvT to catch you off. These guys, these Korean Terrans, are always trying to get as far ahead as they can, and that involves cutting corners. And now we'll see what this is gonna do. Gonna do for PartinG here. He's trying to intercept these units. Looks like that Reaper maybe trying to get on in there. TaeJa goes and hides in those line of sight blockers. PartinG wants to catch those. TaeJa's paying a lot of attention though, so those units will get away. Now we're actually seeing a Raven on the way for Raven's on the way for TaeJa, and this is absolutely huge for shutting down DTs. A Warp Prism will be on the way, but the first round of DTs was planned just to run right on into the base, and as a result, PartinG's going to be in a lot of trouble. He's not going to get really anything done with these DTs, it seems, this game. And once he has the Warp Prism, of course, it's a different story. You split up the DTs, you see what they can get, but yeah, I mean, once this Raven gets out, there's really nothing, and it's perfectly timed here. For TaeJa, these DTs are going to be in a world of trouble. Yeah, they run right on in. PartinG's just going to say, uh-oh. Loses one of the DTs right away. Very nicely, that Raven doing its job. Now, a Warp Prism is going to help on out later. TaeJa, we'll see if he throws up an eBay to get detection, but Reaper actually makes it into his main base. Of course, the Dark Shrine's already been revealed. Probe's killing that off. Now, Warp Prism's going to be out, and that's going to help out with some harassment, but the fact that TaeJa has a Raven is absolutely huge for him. Now, DT's hanging out for PartinG, but he's got to be careful with this because there's the Raven. You don't want to lose these units, and look at that. Yeah, the Raven and Cyclone are hunting out. Alright, that pylon gets found. All of a sudden, now we're seeing these siege tanks move on out. This DT is still hanging around for PartinG, but alright, it's in the Warp Prism now, so PartinG's going to be loading this into the main base of TaeJa, and TaeJa cuts so many corners this game, guys. He's going for a big push, but back at home, he's just relying entirely on the Raven, pretty much. And now all of a sudden, PartinG's going to be getting a DT into one of these bases. TaeJa doesn't even have a single scan, or there it is, there's his single scan. But now it's gone, so he has to get something back at home. He hasn't started any turrets. And we're seeing that this big push going, but all PartinG needs to do, he needs to get that Raven. It's so huge. He gets the Raven, and suddenly TaeJa's not going to have the scans. We just need to see a few DTs warped in from PartinG. We need to see the DT go back into the main base here with that Warp Prism. He actually recalls his Prism, it looks like, or recalls some other units. Now that DT is going to go into the main base, and it's their scans for TaeJa. There's going to be scans, but it's either one on the front line or one back at home, and okay, we're seeing a missile turret go up for TaeJa. That's actually such a smart play. The scan being used to great effect in the main base. PartinG's taking a fair bit of damage. Now, the fact that there's that, oh, something in the main base. Oh, the Cloak Banshee. PartinG doesn't have an answer to that. Where's his observers? He's got 3 observers, but none are in position. So this game, pretty darn chaotic, but TaeJa with this nice bunker push, getting on in here. There's Blink for PartinG, but where are all of his observers? None are in position. He's lost 18 probes in the main base to this Banshee. He's had potential to try and get some good damage done with a counter DT Warpin, but TaeJa's on 3 CCs now. PartinG knows it. GG, TaeJa takes the game. And I can't help but feel that, I can't help but feel that that PartinG could have had a lot better odds in that game if we look at it, because like there was so much room for those DTs to get damage done. There was a time in which TaeJa had like 1 scan, 1 for the front line, 1 back at home. If PartinG, say, warps in 2 DTs, he's in a fantastic position in the main base, in the natural, because TaeJa cut corners. We have a few follows coming on in, and I see Just a Burger saying coupon code all used up. But guys, there is actually another event, so there's going to be more there's going to be more codes that there's more codes basically. If you go to the second event, use the code GAMES9, that definitely helps out, because we've used all the ones for the first one, but not for the second one. So you guys can help fill that out. But we're just making sure that everyone is ready here, and then we'll get on into the next game. It's going to be Port Alexander here. TaeJa's currently up 2-1 in this best of 7. And of course, you guys can support using those sponsored quests as well. Definitely helps out the stream. Helps do more of these show matches. Otherwise, they would not be possible. And a few follows coming in, which is great to see. Hope you guys are enjoying the matches. All right, but we're loading on in. It's a best of 7, a Terran versus Protoss. It's a PVT, Port Alexander. This man currently up 2-1. It's Liquid TaeJa. And spawning up in the top left-hand side of the map, it's PartinG the big boy. All right, so I mean, that game definitely could have gone different in so many ways, but PartinG, I can't help but feel like he could have done more there with the DTs. Like, there was time in which he could have been going in, the scan had expired, he should have gone back into the main base, pull TaeJa's attention apart, but then he just wasn't ready for the Banshee. He had 3 observers, but no stalkers to kill off that Banshee in the main base, and as a result, TaeJa ran away with that game. Hope you guys are enjoying this match. Thanks so much to everyone for tuning on in. Probes moving on out for PartinG. All right, you can certainly message me about that Discord. Now, Barracks on the way for TaeJa. PartinG's probe going to be scouting. He's going for a Cybercore first. So I guess just to be safe, even before he's seen the Barracks. Then just going for his Nexus. So safety play. It's not like he's committing to any aggression or anything. Look at that, this probe already hanging down at the natural. TaeJa's just, he's going to have a tough time getting up this CC. He just immediately builds it off location. Being a bit of a pain though is PartinG. Going to work away on that SCV. Look at that, TaeJa has to run it on home. Pulls down another SCV. PartinG's probe such a terror. Now that probe's going to have to get on out. That Reaper's going to be popping on out. So it's either going to have to be recalled or it's going to lose its life. And looks like it's going to lose its life. So I don't know if it's worth it. Just that little bit of harassment. I guess the idea is you bruise up the SCV so the Adept can 2-shot it. And that may actually be all that PartinG needs, because it is that 3rd shot that allows the CC to finish if you go for a Cybercore first. Stargate on the way following this up for PartinG, and this is actually going to be really interesting, whether that Adept's going to be able to delay the command center. And it's a little bit further out, guys. We'll see. How's the timing work out on this? And oh, look at this. TaeJa already getting ready for this. Look at that. He swaps the SCVs because he knows the timing. The timing is so close, guys, in which the Adept can just almost kill the SCV, but I don't think it's going to be able to. It's going to be working away on it, although he may actually get it this time. Yeah, that was a fast adept. All right, CC being delayed. Nicely done for PartinG. I was talking about how that big SCV swap would make all the difference. Not quite. It survives, of course, one extra hit, but still your CC not being finished is your CC not being finished. Now, a Cyclone's on the way. Cyclone on the way, so that Adept has to go on home. Oh, the Reaper actually being a bit of a pain. PartinG having to pull back these injured probes, but Citizen's Arrest actually kills off the Reaper there. Nicely done. Not having to worry about that sneaking away. Alright, now we'll see. PartinG, he's hanging out on the high ground here, hoping to maybe catch a Cyclone. He's got out the Oracle. And so we'll see whether he puts the pressure onto TaeJa once again. Oracles, Adepts, and Stalkers definitely can engage onto this if he sort of takes a sudden engagement. Now it's two Stalkers, it's the Adept. The Adept's going to shade on in, get out the detection. And yeah, this is definitely PartinG planning on engaging right on top of this. The Oracle's going to fly right on in. It's going to commit onto some of these units. It's actually a little bit indecisive here. The Marines do enough to shoo it away. That one Marine actually enough to shoo this Oracle. Now, there's nothing in the main base, so PartinG actually decides just to go for that. We'll see how many SCVs he can get. Currently getting 2, getting another. Wants to focus down some more SCVs. And he's actually getting a fair number of SCVs right now. It appears we don't have game heart though, guys, and I apologize for that. 6 SCVs going down. Alright, now Banshee's going to be popping on out. So TaeJa following this up with his one, well, he's basically just gone for a 1-1-1 once again, the Cloak Banshee, but PartinG getting a bit of damage done there. So TaeJa's down on the worker count, and guys, I saw some people talking smack, saying that this would be like a clean sweep for TaeJa ever since TaeJa's really been, you know, back in the full of pro gaming. But this game's looking pretty good for PartinG. Now the Banshee's going to be coming in, but there's 2 Oracles out and a Phoenix as well. And so it makes you wonder, like, what's TaeJa going to do? He's getting up Cyclones, and he's actually getting Magfield Accelerator, so may just be going for like a Cyclone Banshee push or something along those lines. Now PartinG, he still has out these 2 Oracles, but for now he's been keeping them at home, knowing the potential of the Cloaked Banshee. And these Banshees aren't committing yet, just because, of course, you want to make sure you have Cloak done, but if you just fly in with 1 Banshee, the Protoss will usually be ready, so TaeJa's going to fly in with 2, 1 at each base. And we'll see how much damage it's going to be able to get done. There's 1 Phoenix, which will force the Cloak, identify that Banshee's coming, but TaeJa's looking for blood. He's probably looking for the 3rd base at least here, as he's delaying everything. He's delaying his tech, going for Cyclones, getting up to Siege Tank. Now the Banshee's here. The Observer as well, actually going to allow this Banshee maybe to be picked off, but now here comes in 1 into the main base. Probes are already running for PartinG, knowing that he's going to be getting split apart right now. Now, these units are actually trying to engage. However, this Magfield Accelerator lock-on actually just shreds through these units. Stalkers are on the high ground, so the tanks get picked off. One of those Cyclones gets found, though, and there's no stim on these units for TaeJa, so PartinG may actually be able to clean this up with the Stalkers. The Cyclone is the big threat, but it actually gets volleyed down, which is so huge now. The Banshee's in position, though. Another Cyclone comes on board, but PartinG warping in more Stalkers may have enough to shut this down. It went from a bunch of harassment just to TaeJa really committing on in here. Now, there's no high ground vision for TaeJa, so these Stalkers will force everything back, and that actually works out tremendously for PartinG. Now, he had a fair bit of mining time denied, but he's got these Blink Stalkers. They should be able to shut down this Banshee, and once that's done, he'll be in a much better situation. An Observer does need to get back here to truly shut this down. There's 2 more Cyclones out on the map right now for TaeJa, so he could potentially bring in more aggression with this. The Observer's in, though, so that 1 Banshee gets cleaned up, and this is where it could become smooth sailing for PartinG right now. TaeJa's deciding to go on back, knowing that he didn't get done what he needs. He's got his 3rd CC on the way, but PartinG's is done. And the most important thing is there's no stim on the way for TaeJa. He's throwing up double E-base because he's got the economy, but not the production, so he doesn't really have anything else to spend his money on. So it's like, alright, I guess I'll get ready to start 1-1 here. And TaeJa's attack, he took a little bit of damage early on in the game, and I guess he decided he needed to get something done, but he did not get done what he needed to. And now PartinG is going to have these Blink Stalkers that he can poke TaeJa with. He can tech into whatever else he wants. He's getting his +1 armor. He's already got his +1 attack, so we'll have an upgraded advantage, at least for a time. Now these Stalkers are moving on in. There's the 2 Cyclones here, but these Stalkers are just looking for anything they can get. Not quite able to delay the CC. There is a Siege Tank as well, so they will get shoot away, but going to be able to keep TaeJa pressured, possibly keep him on 2 bases for a while. And he is a little bit concerned, but PartinG back on his side of the map. We're not seeing him commit to anything else just yet, and this makes me worried. He's okay, there we go. Or he was thinking of getting up a Templar Archives, but instead he just starts his charge. And I'd like to see some chrono on that, and there we go. There's the Templar Archives. Getting thrown on up. He can always get up Psystorm or something else. A Banshee's harassing this 3rd base, so TaeJa came on in with another of these. The Phoenix and Stalkers should be able to shut this down, but there does need to be an observer here. PartinG's forced to run probes, so TaeJa getting a bit of damage now. He's killed 15 probes this game. So that's a nice bit of damage there now. TaeJa, he's back at home still. He's waiting for Stimpack, but he is going to be getting into that Stimpack, and he's going to have a significant amount of bio, as he has just been producing constantly. And this actually makes me a little bit worried for PartinG, that TaeJa's going to be teching up and just hit this strong bio play. And then PartinG, the fact that he's just going for, well, he's going into Psystorm now, and he's getting up a Warp Prism. Okay, so you can do the Templar, you can do the high Templar Storm drops, but PartinG's poking the front of TaeJa, but TaeJa has a very significant amount of bio. Charge is on the way. Stalkers trading out, gets a Medivac for a Stalker, a fine trade there, but TaeJa's coming on in now. He's got his Stimpack. PartinG's got to be careful. He trades out with another Medivac, a Stalker for a Medivac, probably a worthwhile trade due to the time it takes to produce those units. PartinG's going into Psystorm. He's got some High Templar on the way, and he should have a few Storms ready to engage this army now. He's got to be careful with these Stalkers trading out, and he's actually losing pretty much all the Stalkers. It's going to be up to the Zealots to really shut this down, but the main thing actually is not the Zealots. It's going to be the High Templar in this Warp Prism. Psystorm's waiting to be dropped on this army. PartinG's engaging on in. High Templar are going to be dropped as the Warp Prism gets focused down. TaeJa kiting back though, and since there's the Cyclones that locked onto the Prism, he's not able to just jump right on in, get the Storms he wants. He picks off one of the Cyclones, so TaeJa not having as much of that positional power as he would since he lost one of those Cyclones. Now these High Templar, they're hanging around, but PartinG really can't go up this ramp, and I think he's actually going to, but yeah, this is pretty ballsy to attack in with Psystorm. Psystorm, not the best offensive tool, unless you have really an overwhelming advantage. A good Psystorm there getting a connection on that bio, but PartinG has to stay back, and I'm concerned for PartinG. He's getting his +2 armor on the way, but he's not getting anything else, and the fact that he's not having any Colossus or any, say, Immortals even, to be the backbone of this army really makes me worried. This Gateway style really is somewhat flimsy. PartinG is getting into a 4th base, but this Cyclone, oh my god, is it actually going to be able to cancel? Yes, it is. That Cyclone single-handedly canceling that Nexus. A fantastic find there. And now supply-wise, TaeJa's ahead. He's just macroing up PartinG. He's got up a good number of High Templar, but TaeJa's getting into Ghosts. It really is all going to be on the Prism and the Psystorms for PartinG. And of course, the Prism does keep these units safe from the Psystorm now. TaeJa's moving on in towards this 4th base. PartinG's coming on in. He does have this High Templar in the Warp Prism, so he can drop these and he can drop Psystorms. And he's doing a good job of that so far. More High Psystorms going down. This army bruised on up, eating one more Storm after another. That Archon, though, going to get focused down. This High Templar morphed into it. And a lot of the Zealots have actually gone down, but more Psystorm coming on in here. TaeJa's army very bruised. The Medivac's very overworked, and a lot of these units are weak. And now PartinG able to rout TaeJa there. Now, how many more Psystorms does he have? He needs more High Templar to deal with this. He's warping in more. And hopefully for PartinG, he'll have more Storms for the next attack. But TaeJa, he's on 3 bases, getting up more barracks. Got Ghost production. And now PartinG, he's got up towards his 4th base. He's getting armor level 3. He's not even getting attack number 2. That is a concern. If the fact that PartinG's just on this one forge, you generally want to have good upgrades with this style. Otherwise, your gateway units really just can't contend with the Terran bio. Now, look at this TaeJa. He's actually floating over his main base, so he's going to be securing somewhat of a 4th just to keep his economy rolling. The main thing is that these High Templar in the Warp Prism is absolutely huge for PartinG because they can't be EMP'd. TaeJa lands a nice EMP onto those Stalkers and Zealots, but really the main prize is trying to hit those High Templar as they come out of the Warp Prism or shutting that down. But it's actually, like, the Warp Prism keeps the High Templar safe from EMP. It's so important. Now here comes in PartinG. He's looking for an engagement. If you can just dive right on top of the Terran, there's that Warp Prism with High Templar in it, but TaeJa forcing PartinG back for now. PartinG's got a pretty scary army, but it is just this ground gateway style. He's getting into his +3 armor. There we go. Now we're seeing a robotics bay get up for PartinG, which is so important for him, guys, because just this army, the Terran has the mobility, and literally the only thing PartinG has going for him is the Psystorm. Of course, the Zealots, if they get a good engagement, but it's very tough to get a good engagement versus someone like TaeJa. Now, this bio has these gateway units have to be very careful as Zealots spilling forward, getting picked off, so PartinG just bleeding off a few units. And TaeJa's built himself a wonderful minefield. There goes some Psystorms, more and more going down, but I believe that was probably actually every single storm. There may be like one more from PartinG. He's morphing an Archon. Now, yeah, I think he's got one more Psystorm left in this Prism, so EMP's going down in this army. PartinG's diving onto TaeJa. There's the final Psystorm. It connects with a fair few of the Widow Mines, but suddenly that's all that PartinG has now, and TaeJa's got this large chunk of bio. PartinG needs to handle this. The army is very stimmed for TaeJa, but TaeJa's got an overwhelming army supply right now. The Immortals in the back, popping off these Marauders, Stalkers engaging. More Zealots need to be here for a buffer. This Warp Prism ever threatening. Widow Mines getting connections, though. We see more High Templar in this Prism. Can't tell how much energy they have, though, but so far, PartinG staying alive, and he's getting up Extended Thermal Lance. We need to see Colossus production start. 1 or 2 Colossus makes all the difference in the world here. Because of their AoE, it's so good. Now, High Templar in this Prism should be able to force this army back. Now, TaeJa being very careful not to be in a good position to eat lots of Psystorms. There's some pretty healthy ones going down for PartinG, though. Actually getting some fantastic connections there at the end, really bruising up this army. TaeJa's got a pretty good Medivac count to heal this up, but he actually just decides to go right for the 3rd base, and that's going to be in trouble. PartinG's going to need to warp in some Zealots at this base, I think, but he actually cuts off the big boy with this, and now suddenly he snipes off the Nexus, which is a very nice move, dealing a good blow to PartinG's economy. Both these players are effectively on 4 bases, so TaeJa's giving himself the economy lead. Now, High Templar's dropping a lot of Storms. They're going to morph into Archons, but a lot of the Zealots have gone down for PartinG. The Colossus is here, though. This is going to help PartinG out so much. Actually, double Colossus now. Extended Thermal Lance not done just yet, but this is really going to help shut down the army of TaeJa. Losing the 3rd base is very concerning for PartinG, though. TaeJa's realizing, okay, now there's Colossus. I have to get into something else. More Colossus production on the way. TaeJa's producing Vikings just now, but there's already 2 Colossus out, so PartinG could have a potential window here if he chooses to fight. 4 Colossus on the way soon is going to be very powerful, and I mean, guys, it's sort of like a game of chess in which you want to outposition your opponent with your unit comps, and Colossus High Templar does generally beat just Bio Ghost. You need a lot of Vikings in the army, at least for the Terran, or Mass Liberators to zone this out, but PartinG's going to be looking for something now. He's got the Colossus. They make such a difference, and we're seeing that now, how effective this is for PartinG, as this army now going to be pursuing TaeJa. TaeJa's realizing that he can't engage this head on, but some High Templar going for some fantastic Psystorms on the Terran army, burning a fair few there. Makes me wonder how many more he has, but PartinG stayed alive. He's secured his 4th base. He's getting up his 3rd base, and now he's getting his +2 attack, which is nice to see. He went for the armor to keep his army alive, but you do need that for damage-wise, so I think we need to see a 5th base up for PartinG as soon as he can manage that, but we are seeing Viking production really ramp up for the Terran player. There we go, 5th base being queued up for PartinG now. Here comes in these Colossus. They're going to be moving right on in. PartinG Stalkers trading out, just trying to look for anything. At this point, it really is diminishing returns, but I mean, this army for PartinG is scary. There's no doubt about it. There's Psystorm to cover it. There's all of these Colossus in position, and they just shred through bio. 3 or 4 really is the magic number, and here comes in PartinG, some fantastic Psystorms going down there on this army. Vikings are getting an engagement. TaeJa coming in at a good angle, but these Colossus put out so much damage, it makes me worried for TaeJa. But PartinG actually not having enough Zealots to buffer for his army is forced back entirely. The Warp Prism has gone down. PartinG's been teching into Disruptors behind this, so he's got these 2 Disruptors out. So he has that sort of everlasting AoE, a Zealot run by plan for PartinG. TaeJa got up another command center while this is going on, keeping his economy going, but he is only on 55 SCVs. Actually, a factory floating over here. What's that for? Just a random factory getting picked off there. Now, PartinG is getting up a few more High Templar to cover his economy, but getting up a 5th base is so important here. He needs to make sure that he keeps that alive. He's got up the Disruptors, though. The Disruptors don't care about Vikings. Like, Vikings not good versus Disruptors, obviously. And as a result, TaeJa's suddenly invested in 11 Vikings that are not going to counter these disruptors. Nova's going out, not getting the connections they want though, and PartinG has to retreat for now until he gets some more units in there. There's ghosts in position as well, so PartinG going to be looking for, or TaeJa going to be looking for some EMPs, lands some actually fantastic ones. Now he's actually taken this engagement here, but a lot of Zealots are of disruption. Nova's going off, fantastic connection there for PartinG, aiming another one, another fantastic connection. PartinG cleaning up this army of TaeJa, and suddenly all the Vikings are dying, and that was a fantastic fight for PartinG. He's been holding on so long, and now he's suddenly got these disruptors, and yeah, PartinG ties it up 2-2. Those disruptor shots were disgusting, but very well. That was absolutely amazing from PartinG, hanging on so long, such a close series. We'll find out what the next map is. It's currently tied 2-2 in this best of 7. And guys, I know this is awesome. Like some people were saying, oh, TaeJa's going to destroy PartinG. Guys, the last series they had, it was a best of 9, and it went the distance. It went to map number 9. And now we're looking to maybe do that in the best of 7. All right. Thanks so much to everyone for tuning on in. You guys seem to really love this. All right, we'll load on into the next map. If you guys want, you can consider supporting the channel if you have Amazon Prime. Yeah, if you guys have Amazon Prime, you can always check me out with that. Feel free to subscribe. Of course, it's free. I only say that because some people don't know. You can support a Twitch channel for free with Amazon Prime if you just have your account sitting around. That's a very valid point, Northern Spectre. Like, TaeJa was already so good right when he came back, and he's definitely improved. But PartinG's playing very actively now. Thanks so much to everyone for tuning on in. You can also check me out at !caster. The VODs will be on YouTube and everything. Oop, I do have to update that command though. Not casting with grabbing, just me, as usual. Yeah, thanks so much to everyone for tuning on in. I hope you guys are enjoying this show match. I certainly am. There is no bracket for this. Make sure to consider checking out that match arena. We've used all the codes for the first one, but if you guys do want to help out, there's another show match right on after this, Bly versus Clem, which should be a fantastic Terran versus Zerg. Oh boy, guys, it's this bug. All right. Well, it's currently tied 2-2, and spawning up in the top right-hand side of the map, it's Liquid TaeJa. Okay, but spawning up in the top left-hand side of the map, it's PartinG the big boy. Guys, if you're noticing the mouse in the middle of the screen, this is when I middle mouse scroll. This is a bug. Blizzard somewhat fixed it a while back, but now it's completely broken. And I do need to talk about this. TaeJa's going for a good old-fashioned proxy barracks without any gas. Just the one, it seems. I thought he was maybe going to go for more. There we go. There's the gas on the way. So it is a proxy barracks. Ah, yes. We may have game heart. See, the players have been making the lobby, and so that's why the last map didn't have game heart, and I honestly forgot to check for this one. PartinG, not able to see that barracks. TaeJa just sees that probe goes by. And exactly, dirty Terran, as Northern Spectre says in chat. Thanks so much to you guys for tuning on in. Checking out these show matches, always awesome. Okay, so yeah, God, this middle mouse is so annoying. Okay, so now TaeJa actually getting up a bunker. Really looking to be a pain with the Reaper this time. PartinG's gonna see that this is indeed a full-on proxy. Now we did go for a pretty quick cyber core though. Getting out a Stalker right away, and actually a Marine on the way out of this for TaeJa, so he's really going to be committing here. The Adept, or the Probe, actually going to be a bit of a pain working away on this supply depot. Maybe it can find the SCV. The Stalker's going to be popping out in just a second, and oh my god, the Reaper gets surrounded. This is so nice for PartinG. And guys, did you see that? Oh my god. What? PartinG, 3-2. Guys, like, okay, take a look at this. TaeJa just loses his first Reaper like that and just taps on it. Hold on. Guys, yeah, so the Reaper gets caught, and then watch this. PartinG, he mineral walks probes through it. That's like a split-second reaction. He's like, yeah, I can catch that Reaper. The Reaper maybe could have gotten out, but nope, PartinG mineral walks and takes it. And look at that. TaeJa just taps on out. I don't know if he lost his probe on the other side of the map, but wow. Okay, PartinG's 3-2. He's match point, guys. And if PartinG takes this, this means we could be having one hell of a rivalry, guys. As, guys, like, TaeJa won the last one, 5-4, and now PartinG's got himself a lead in this one. Yeah, TaeJa, a little bit on tilt. I guess maybe not happy with his initial build. But hopefully the middle mouse bug is fixed, at least. And no, it's not. Unfortunately for that. There is no bracket for this. This is just a good old-fashioned best-of-7 between PartinG and TaeJa. And there we go. I've already said their names, so it's spawning up in the top right-hand side of the map. It's Liquid TaeJa, but that last one was a quick one. Now his opponent spawning down the bottom left-hand side of the map. It is PartinG the big boy. This would be some nice vengeance. These guys are playing just for a nice little chunk of change here. And guys, I think if PartinG wins this, we'll definitely have to have them back for another rematch. TaeJa once again going to be proxying the barracks just to throw PartinG off a little bit, but this time I don't think we'll be seeing an SCV get caught. Yeah, I'm not sure TaeJa had a clear idea of what he wanted to do that game, and that was just a bit of a freestyle build, but freestyling versus PartinG is a little bit risky. And I'll say this once more, since this could potentially be the last game in this series, it's going to be a best-of-7 Clem versus Bly after this, guys, though. So make sure to stay tuned. After that is going to be some more fantastic Starcraft 2. But yeah, so feel free to check out that match, Reno. You guys can get the replays for this event if you're enjoying it. Probably don't want to learn from that last build that TaeJa went for, but of course you can get the replays for all the games invitationals I do on Matcherino by supporting the events, helps fund them and whatnot. But yes, thanks so much to everyone for tuning on in. And now PartinG moving in with his probe, just going to scout on out. Is he actually just going to find the barracks right out the gate? He is. Wait, does he see it? Yeah, he sees the barracks. Now, he doesn't see the fact that the factory's being built there. So he's not 100% sure, but is PartinG going to check on out for that factory? He's not. It's just a Marino to TaeJa, interestingly enough. And then getting a tech lab. So it could be a Cyclone Rush coming out of TaeJa. Alright, so yeah, look at that. Barracks floating over. So just wanting that very, very fast tech lab. Now the barracks going to fly into the main base, complete that wall off. PartinG is getting up his Nexus. Oh man, it's been a while since we've had this bug of that whole middle mouse issue. Now the Cyclone on the way. So this is as Cyclone Rushy as it really gets for TaeJa. Now a Stalker's on the way out for PartinG, and we'll see. He doesn't really have much of an idea that this is coming as far as he's concerned. This is probably a pretty standard build coming out of TaeJa. But no, this really is the Cyclone Rush. Like, this is what Terrans do. This is probably what most Terrans did. The second that they realized the Cyclone was changed, they're like, hey, you know what? I'll try building one of these pretty quickly. And we'll see how it's going to work out. Alright, now that Robo facility on the way for PartinG, so you can either get up a Warp Prism, get out an Immortal to try and deal with those Cyclones, but he is going to be at the mercy of the Micro of TaeJa with this Cyclone. Of course, they don't deal too much damage until they have that Mag Field Accelerator, which upgrades pretty quickly, and suddenly PartinG's Nexus could be in trouble. So we'll see what... I mean, it's possible we just see a Warp Prism start right away for PartinG. There's that Warp Prism. Okay, yeah, and that's definitely going to help out versus a Cyclone Rush. So PartinG could just kind of be countering the build of TaeJa. Alright, I mean, TaeJa is going to have these Marines and Cyclones sort of similar to the last game, starting up with some Cyclone aggression. Of course, that was a much later push than this one is. These two Cyclones are out for TaeJa. We'll see if they move out on the map. Now, they could be very good for shutting down this pressure, but the Warp Prism it's really going to come down to whether the Warp Prism gets locked on or not, as to whether PartinG's push works. And oh, look at that. That is so cute. Guys, look at this. PartinG, pylon. Just in range so he could warp in the Stalkers outside of his base. And now he's coming in, looking to put the aggression onto TaeJa, who is maybe planning on being the aggressor this game. But yeah, PartinG's coming in with all these Stalkers, and it's really going to depend on the micro. If the Prism gets locked on, it's fantastic. Otherwise, TaeJa could be in a lot of trouble right now. Marines are going to unload right in front of this. However, they actually definitely do need to unload there. Medivac taking a lot of damage. SCV's in trouble. Looks like PartinG may have to retreat. If that Cyclone gets a lock-on onto the Prism, that's absolutely huge. PartinG, though, microing that back, keeping that Prism alive, focuses down the Cyclone. And that is absolutely huge for PartinG, able to keep that alive. Now, TaeJa's moving out, still pursuing this army. I mean, these guys, it's going to be a scrappy situation. That Cyclone wants to get that Warp Prism so much. It really is the tool that keeps all of these units alive. And with another Warp and a Stalkers, TaeJa could be in a lot of trouble right now. He's brought SCVs with this push, but they've got to retreat. He was planning on pushing into TaeJa, but PartinG really headed that off. And now we've got a Cyclone on the way, another one for TaeJa, but he's just producing off one barracks. This is actually looking fantastic for PartinG right now. Alright, now Observer going to get focused down, which is nice, I guess, but suddenly there's still the mobility of these Stalkers, and PartinG doesn't, or TaeJa doesn't really have an answer to that Cyclone. It does pick off one of them, which is very nice, but these Cyclones, they're so flimsy. TaeJa's got to be careful. The Medivac is a godsend for now, keeping these Marines alive, preventing the Stalkers just from really whittling them down, but now suddenly the Marine number is falling, and I think PartinG may have done it. TaeJa doesn't have anything. Yeah, GG. Alright, guys. PartinG takes the series 4-2.